What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from TheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm doing a recap of Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen, Season 1, Episode 2. I did a recap of Season 1, Episode 1, the pilot, or the first episode, because it's a limited series, and I was kind of hoping it would get more views. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. I need more subscribers so I can subscribe. But if you want to continue to see me do more of this, um, the show does have excellent audio descriptions, so that's a plus. Definitely a lot of creepy things that are happening in this, so there will be spoilers because it's a recap. I'm going to pick up where I left off, so I don't need to do a whole lot of explaining of like who's in the cast and who all these people are. And it's episode 2, so we're moving forward. In case you're like, what is this show? It's the show. It's why bother? Well, it's produced by the Duffer Brothers, so it's what they're following up with Stranger Things. So, thought that was intriguing, and we don't get a lot of horror TV series. It's also from the guy that did the team that did Brand New Cherry Flavor. So, uh, Rachel just got the letter at the end of the last episode that said, "Don't marry him," which in this episode at the beginning, she immediately takes to Nikki and says, "I got this. This is weird." And so they contemplate who might have sent this. And they're like, is it somebody who from Rachel's past, one of her exes, some stalker that she has? Or is it somebody from Nikki's past, some stalker that he has, one of his exes? Who could it possibly? And he's like, well, if anything, it's negative against me because they don't think I'm good enough for you. So he's like, it's not, why would it's a weird debate that doesn't really go anywhere, but sort of sets forth the conversation. I don't know why she would show it to him. It's weird. First of all, I kind of got the feeling that it was left there by the mom, but maybe not. So we once again we meet the weird family again, and they're still being super weird and super uncomfortable. One of the things this series does really well is manage to be super uncomfortable and unnerving like the whole time, even though it hasn't really shown you like gore or horrific violence or anything like that. It is really uncomfortable. Um, so uh, Rachel and Nikki have a moment where they realize, oh crap, the wedding dress. What happened to it? And they're like, did you not leave home with it? No, like, no, we did, but we stopped in Cleveland and I think we left the wedding dress there. And like, that's an 8-hour drive. And Nikki's like, I'll drive back. I love that Nikki's willing to drive back when he can't even get like a hold of the people who are there. He's like on a wing and a prayer, just gonna drive 8 hours to Cleveland just because he has a gut instinct that that's where it is. I thought it was weird. I was like, he's obviously just trying to get out of there. I'm not even sure he drove away, to be totally honest. I'm not considering everything where I feel like the series is headed. I'd be surprised if he wasn't in on it too. And, if he didn't just like drive off property and just go hang out somewhere and it was going to come back and be like, sorry, I didn't find it. You know, I wasn't there. But as things get increasingly weirder, um, Rachel will end up calling him back anyway and he'll return. So she has to go through, um, she has this experience where they're like, well, we have to give you your wedding dress. So they give her, the sister and the mother get together and they start like primping her with an old wedding dress that's one of theirs that they had used previously, and they like reappropriate it for Rachel and tear off sleeves and stuff and make it work for her. So she now has a wedding dress, but it's something borrowed. And there's this weird scene with her and the mother, Veronica, Jennifer Jason Leigh's character, um, with about the pearls. And there's a debate about, and Rachel's like, aren't pearls bad luck? And then she's like, what if they're fake? And Rachel's like, are you gonna make me like rub them across my teeth? And she does. I'm like, what is this? So I love how everything is uncomfortable, and so you have to listen to her rub the thing across her teeth. It's so weird. Um, So that happened, and Rachel also bumps into a mirror and shatters it, and uh, the sister runs crying from the room. So um, there's still the talk of this the creepy thing that they told in the first movie, the first episode, that the story, we already learned the first story about the ice cream man, right? That killed everybody, and then we learned about this thing that's gonna come and gut her, and it's so that persists as the little boy Jude sees a drop of blood on the floor and is like freaking out. He's like, blood, blood. And then so Rachel comes in and is like, oh yeah, I had a nosebleed. And he's like, my dad's gonna kill you. And he just starts freaking out, calling for his dad, and his dad comes out of the room. And so Nikki's dad passes through, and she refers to him as doctor. So then Nikki's brother is also like here, and he's like, well, I'm doctor too. Why don't you call me that? And she's like, I can't tell if you're kidding or not. And he's like, I'm not. Everything in this family is so weird. So Rachel starts picking up on these vibes about it being weirder and weirder, and she starts thinking like maybe they're going to sacrifice, and the language and stuff that they're using. So they're going to keep ratcheting up the tension on her and the things that are happening and the worry about all of this. And she just she calls Nikki and she's like, you got to come back. You got to come back. There are things that are happening here. Everything's weird. Everything's creepy. She sneaks into the brother's room, the doctor's room, and finds these drugs and stuff that are in there. She says she's looking for the dress, but she's really not. She's just snooping. Um, and so after being gaslit the whole episode by the family, she kind of bursts and runs from the house and then runs out into the cold with her phone, because her phone hasn't been sending messages. It's just a whole bunch of messages have been stored. And she runs out and she starts running through the forest, and she runs into and sees that A, the father's been digging a grave, and B, there is a large life-size wooden stick figure thing that is hanging from a tree wearing a wedding dress, which is a jump scare technically for this. And so she freaks out and she thinks that, she's going to be killed. And finally, Nikki comes home after she summoned him, and she's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Your family's trying to kill me. And he's like, wait, hold on. Let me, I'm just trying to catch up. So let me go talk to my family. You can sit in the car. Here are the keys. If you want to drive away, drive away. So, so he goes up to his family, and we don't hear the conversation because we see it from her perspective while she's still in the car. And he comes back to her and is like, okay, then so we cut to a scene of them explaining why everything has been so weird. Supposedly it's because Jennifer Jason Leigh's character was diagnosed with terminal cancer and she's dying and it doesn't look good. So they were just trying to make it through this wedding. They were so hopeful that that they'd be able to do this wedding, the one last thing for her. And basically, she insinuates the fact that she doesn't want to see her kids go downhill. She doesn't want to deteriorate, and she knows she's going to. So it's insinuated that she plans on killing herself or having her husband do like assisted suicide or something like that, which is why there's a grave being dug outside, because after the wedding, she's gonna not be alive anymore. However, it does not. There's a lot of insinuation and suggestion, not actually like, this is what I plan on doing. So Rachel then flips her emotions back around and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This totally makes sense now. And I was like, girl, no, it doesn't. But whatever, it gets us more episodes, because otherwise, like, a normal girl Rachel would have been out of there. She'd been like in that car and driving and left Nikki there and been like, okay, thanks for the keys, bye. It's like driving away. Um, but yeah, I get it. We have to have more episodes. So I like the show. I'm still floating around like an 8 for score, and I'll do another episode if you want me to. So at least they're quick recaps, give you an idea of what the show is about, and if you want to get into it or not. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.